Hello everyone, this is Eve, and I'm coming to you with Killer Romance, a Jeff the Killer X Reader by DarkQueenXxRei. We're going to be starting off with Chapter 14, Brute, Day 5. The sun shined through the window as it did every day since the fall. You opened your eyes, almost blinded by the light. No memories of the night before remained. You knew that something happened, but of course you had no clue as to what it was. That was just the fatal flaw of a lazy hero that wasn't fit for their task. But that was when you noticed a small sheet of paper sticking out of a closed drawer below the nightstand. It tempted you amazingly, and you had no choice but to investigate what it was. Curiosity killed the cat. With every step, the solution got closer and closer, but you felt more distance between yourself and Jeff at the same time. The floor was giving out beneath you as well, however, you knew that it was the right thing to do. Any secret too terrible should never be hidden from the people that may suffer from it. Therefore, any secret involving an innocent sheet of paper was of the utmost importance for a girl missing chunks of her past. The drawer was old, and you could tell that it was misaligned with this track, but even so, you were able to open it and spot millions of sheets that was similar to the one that flew out. You noticed that all of the papers fit into a notebook sitting near the bottom that had been ripped apart. How very queer. Jeff must have brought them on the trip. If not, the staff would have thrown them out before the next guests arrived. A shiny object came into your view, and you moved the notebook to see it. It was a bottle, a metal bottle to be exact. On the outside, a note was taped to it. Dose, 1 per person per day. Do not take if not instructed to do so. Used for experiments only, with the exception of government officials conducting the SCP test. SCP? You'd heard that before. It was some crazy organization that was supposed to contain strange creatures, but what was the need of pills? All the entries on their website were fake. They even said it themselves. And Jeff must have been pulling a prank on you, but why would he hide them then? If he wanted you to see, he would have put them on the counter or something. There was a knock at the door, and you jumped, throwing the bottle to the ground. Hey, are you awake yet? Jeff muffled behind the door. Yeah, just give me a minute or two, he shouted, hoping that he didn't hear the bottle rattling. Continuing your search, you placed the container at the bottom of the drawer and pulled out a random sheet of paper torn from the notebook. The sloppy writing didn't stop you from trying to interpret what was written on it. The top left corner showed the SCP logo, and he almost laughed. It was like a hotel souvenir. Some SCP notepad up for grabs for all guests and visitors. It had to be a joke. The entire organization was fake, so why wouldn't its branches be a hoax as well? Besides the logo, a memento was placed between the lines. The rake, elongated nails, enlarged mouth, human-like figure, and arched back. It sounded exactly like the creature you had seen the day before, but that creature was a figment of your imagination, just a hallucination caused by the medicine you took. Medicine? What type of medicine was it? Jeff told you it was for memory loss. Actually, you didn't remember that. You didn't remember taking any medicine. But you knew you had to make sure, so you grabbed the pill bottle again and poured some into your hand. Your eyes started shaking at the sight of it. He wouldn't do that to you, right? Would he? Would he really give you some sort of pill that would make you see a creature that wasn't supposed to exist? Or maybe it only existed on another level of spirituality? Enough with the paranormal crap. The only thing you knew was the pill you held in your hand was the same pill Jeff claimed to be memory restoration medicine. What was Jeff doing with those papers and pills? What in God's name was he hiding? How could he hide anything from you? You were helpless. You hoped it was a joke as you threw all the papers back in the drawer and slammed it shut. Sighing, you made your way into the kitchen and greeted the stranger sitting at the table. He shrugged and complained about how the time difference was catching up to him, and you agreed. Jeff looked over at you and narrowed his eyes. You don't look okay, he said. Would it be okay to ask him about what you saw? I told you, you can talk to me about anything, he muttered. No, it was best to just act like nothing was wrong. As a matter of fact, you could just trick your memory into thinking you were dreaming again. Yes, you could even fool yourself into believing that the nightstand didn't exist. It was the right thing to do. I think we should go to the Eiffel Tower, Jeff stated. That was one of the first things we did last time we came. Sounds great, you replied. A while later, you were ready to go, and you found a disposable camera in the closet and decided to bring it along. Might as well not waste any more opportunities to recover memories. You could always look at your photos to jog your clouded mind, and as it seemed to be the easiest thing. Pictures couldn't be manipulated. Whatever you see in them is what really happened, no tricks and no jokes. I called a taxi and they should be here by the time we get downstairs, Jeff said, but I'm not sure how well people drive here. That's alright, you mentioned. You both went down to the lobby and walked outside, seeing a taxi waiting in the front. Jeff opened the backseat door on the passenger side. His eyes immediately froze and his body went stiff. The driver was odd. He had some sort of mask over his mouth that wrapped around the back through his dark hair, and you figured he was just sick. But was it safe to be in a car with a sick foreign man? Not only that, but his attire was strange for his job. He was wearing a formal white button-up. Don't mind me, the driver said. I have a slight cough. Looking over at Jeff, you noticed he was hesitating to get in the car. Okay, let's go, he finally said. Chapter 15, Amor, Day 5. Are you okay? You asked Jeff. Yeah, of course, he replied, pulling your hand on the car. He sat behind the wheel driver and you sat next to him. The guy started the engine the second you closed the door and you were racing down the street well over the speed limit. The car dodged people left and right and you were sure police were on to you by then. The moment passed as quick as a dove feeding on a crow, but it was longer in your mind, probably because you had to enjoy every living moment you had when faced with the bars of death. What the hell, Jeff yelled at the driver. We had a deal. A deal. A deal. He lied. He lied again. He was keeping everything from you. You shouldn't have trusted him back when you got the feeling something was wrong, and any normal person would have ran for their life and separated themselves from the enemy for all eternity. What were you thinking? Why was that question asked so many times? How foolish were you? Oh, excuse my actions, the driver said calmly. It's a habit. Jeff, what's going on with everything? How do you know all these people, you asked. What aren't you telling me? He stayed silent for a second and then replied. I told you I would never lie to you, but there are some things I can't tell you just yet. Again, any secret so terrible means more to the people it affects. And you knew that all the secrecy would hurt you more than anyone else. Not even Jeff. Not if he was the one keeping the secrets. We're here, the driver said. It was quick, but you did speed the whole way. Almost like speeding through time, but anyways, you and Jeff hopped gladly out of the vehicle and made your way towards the Eiffel Tower after paying your respects. You expected to spend the entire day there waiting in line once you saw the crowd of people around it. It must have been a popular tourist time, and you had never seen so many people in one place before. You had a while to spare, so Jeff tried to make some conversation that got more awkward as it went on. He talked about how weird the taxi guy was and how he would never let that happen again, and he cared about you. And he didn't want you to get in a wreck all because he didn't pay attention to the backgrounds of the driver. Yeah, you said coldly. You never told the driver where to go, nor did he, and that didn't make any sense to you. Jeff knew he slipped up, but he didn't bother to fix what he already started. He figured that he would just have to wait until the end of the day and try to retrace his steps back to the days when things weren't so complicated. He would try to caress you like he was at the moment with his arm over your shoulder and his head leaning onto yours like a soldier trying to keep this little sanity he has. What were you thinking about again? But whatever, you were excited to spend time with Jeff at the top of the tower. It was one of the most romantic spots on the globe. Did you bring a camera? Jeff asked. Yeah, he assured. I want to capture everything I can on this thing. Just no pictures of me, though, he stated. Was he camera shy? That was new. Would it be a bad idea to try it out? Maybe it would be cute. A candid picture of him with the Eiffel Tower in the background? You decided to pull the camera out of your bag anyways and pointed it right at the spot when Jeff wasn't looking. Snap. It was a nice picture. He seemed pretty relieved in it, like he was at a nirvana. Hey, he exclaimed. That wasn't funny. You chuckled at him and held the camera behind your back. His angered look quickly turned to melancholy, so you showed him the image with a smile on your face. He didn't appear surprised or anything. He actually laughed a little and acknowledged your amazing photo-taking skills. Let's just go inside now, he mumbled, dragging you along. You had waited for hours in that line. It was finally time to go inside. Sure, nighttime had already stretched across the skyline, but the moon was still hidden behind the sporadic cloud formations that worked to your merit. You really appreciated the way Jeff looked at you on the way up and described the last time he saw the city lights at night. They were like stars, he said. They were all like little twinkles of light fighting to be noticed by the sun. They wanted to be as bright as possible so that they could reach every corner of the small universe in my vision and prove to be worthy of my attention. Over and over again they flickered in and out, and every single one rotated around a single axis, which was the tower itself. I can't even describe the way each one would dance in midair in some sort of synchronized harmony. By then, you were overlooking the stars yourself in the highest balcony in Paris. Jeff mentioned, see that one over there? The one just above the building? That's the moon, you replied. Is there something special about it? It's the leader, he stated. That's the star that leads all the others to the victory in their ongoing battle to find the sun. Every day the sun rolls around the earth searching for one soul that could save her from her inevitable ending that would bring the end of all eternity. Little does she know that the moon has been searching for her. The moon chases the sun as the sun chases the moon. What a beautiful tale, you thought. The sun gets tired of waiting sometimes. She doesn't know that the moon has put so much pride and dignity in his search. All his soldiers try to their hardest to never die on him as a result, and they're always shining, and every so often the moon loses its light by the earth. But it would never give up. It could never give up on true love. But wouldn't it die too at some point, you questioned? Wouldn't its light die after so many rotations? Would it just not come back one day? That's the question of the century, Jeff replied. No one's ever witnessed that, so no one knows if it's possible, but everyone seems to think that the sun will be the first to fall. It's sad. If I was the moon, I would never let the sun feel like she was alone. For a second, you could feel his fingers brush against yours, and next thing you knew, they were intertwined magnificently. You know, you started to say. I think I've really gotten to know you better. You think? He said. I mean, after losing my memories, it's been hard, but you've been there, he said. You breathed steadily, hoping that he wouldn't take it the wrong way, but to your relief, he grasped your hand a little tighter and gazed over at you. His eyes were searching for a sign of emotion in yours, and you were doing the same to him. and luckily there was a tiny sparkle of light in his eyes that came from the soldiers above your head. They were shining a stroke of luck down at you, so they whispered the ways of the wind and then returned to their original battle. In an instant, Jeff's hand was by your face, and he closed your eyes. The moment you felt your lips touch his, you knew. You knew that you loved him. That is the end of those 2 chapters. The chapter after those is chapter 16, Faceless, day 5. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!